In this screencast, I'm going to take a photograph and import it into Flash and then use that as a button. And I'll also change that image slightly for the rollover state. So the first thing I'll do is open up Flash, and I'm going to go ahead and import the image. So it's File, Import, and I'll import it into my library. And it's called Smile. It's a little picture of a kitten here. And now once it's in my library, I can click on it, hold, and drag it out onto my stage. And at this point, I think it's a little big, so I'm going to make it smaller. So I'm going to click on it, and then using my free transform tool, I'm going to grab a corner. Now, one thing I am going to do is when I start to resize this, because it's a photograph, I don't want it to distort. So if I hold down my Shift key first, and then click on a corner, you'll see that it forces me to keep the perspective of it. If I let go of the Shift key and try and do it, you can see that I can distort the picture, which I don't want to do. So to constrain the proportions, I'll hold down the Shift key, grab a corner, and I'll make it a little smaller. Let go, and that's perfect. So that'll be my button. So I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to go up to Modify, Convert to Symbol, or you can hit F8 on your keyboard. And I'm going to choose Button, because it's going to be a button. And I'll call it Smile Button. And click OK. Now to open up this button, what I'm going to do is double click on it. And you can see now I'm inside the button. I have the up, over, down, and hit state. So the first thing I'm going to do is to actually convert this image now to a graphic symbol, because I want to be able to control the brightness of this image. And it's very easy if I have this as a graphic symbol. So again, I'm going to hit F8, and instead of button this time, I'm going to choose graphic. And I'll call it kitten. And click OK. Now you can see it's actually a graphic symbol. So the next thing I'm going to want to do is to make a copy for the over and down state. So I'll just hit F6 twice. So now I've got 3 versions of this. And for the over version, what I'm going to do is make it a little bit lighter. So I'll click on the kitten, and I'll go to Properties. And for the style here, Color Effects, I'm going to click on this drop down, and I can go to Brightness. And I'll click on that, and I'm going to go to, say, 15% brighter. I could actually just click in here and type it if I have a hard time with that. 15% brighter, and then I'll go to down, and again I'll click on the image, and I'll go to Brightness, and this time I'm going to make it, say, minus 20. Minus 20. Enter. And then I'm going to check this. So you could see, well, actually the minus 20 doesn't really work that well, so I'm going to actually even decrease it more. Let's go down to, say, minus 41. So now in the up state, it's the normal photo. Over state, it gets a little brighter. In the down state, it gets darker. And then one final thing I think I'll do is I'll select the image, and a lot of times when you roll over a button, it will say get larger or smaller. So the easiest way to do this is I could grab the handles and just make it bigger, or you can also go up to Modify, Transform, Scale and Rotate will let me actually type in a percentage. So I'm going to go, say, actually 110. Normally it would be at 100, but let me go ahead and type in 110%. And I'll click OK. And now you can see it gets a little bigger. So this is what's going to happen with my button. So let me go back to my scene. And I'm going to test my movie. And there it is. You can see that it gets a little bigger and brighter. And then when you click, it gets darker and gets smaller. So that's a way you could use a photograph as a button.